Hello, everybody, and welcome to Session 3 of Veil of Shadows, a D&D 5e campaign set in the Shadowfell of the homebrew world of Etios. I am Mare, and I am your Dungeon Master for the evening. As always, let's go around, quickly say who we're playing, and introduce ourselves. Sev?
Hi, I'm Sev for Guildmaster Sev, and I'm playing Agatha, the human shadow sorcerer.
Shadow.
Hi, I'm Shadow, and I will be playing Alva, who is the Earth Genasi Bard.
Forta.
I'm Forta, and I'll be playing Ugo Go, the half-orc paladin.
And last but not least, Noir.
Hello, I'm Noir, and I'll be playing Halcyed, the Shadowkai monk rogue.
Oh, I should update the overlay with that. It's fine. Alva, I believe, was going to do the recap from last session.
Yes. So, last session started off with a party talk around a somewhat campfire situation, made battle plans, decided who's going to do what, who's going to sneak, who's going to come in and punch things hard. Then we made our camp for the night outside of the Shadowfell before crossing over. Some of us had disturbing nightmares, but we were able to carry on, get a good night's rest. Then we went into the Shadowfell. In the Shadowfell, we entered into the spooky woods, which caught some of us off guard because we were expecting spooky desert. We got spooky woods instead. Hal was kind enough to give us the rundown, tell us what is edible, what is not edible. Ugo took some samples, goods for later, of all of these. We walked our way through the woods. Once we got through, we saw two distinct things. One was a light out in the distance, and the other was this fort. The two party members that are the best at sneaking and flying, Hal and Agatha, went off to investigate the light, which they found water genasi travelers. Travelers. We had Stream, Geyser, Fjord, and Pebble. Ran into them. They also were in the Shadowfell, not because they wanted to have a pleasant visit there. Agatha and Hal convinced them to come back to where the main party was and then exit through the portal that would take them into the world of Etios. Hal went off and investigated the fort that was full of shadow humanoid figures, which was very strange. Then Alva had a good little reunion with the water genasi. We sent them on their way. Ugo and Alva had a great game of dice, creating a lot of ruckus. May or may not have been a good choice. Then the group decided to move on, investigate the fort. Ugo and Alva and all of the mounts walking up to the main gates, asking for entrance. Agatha and Hal sneaking in their own shadowy flying ways. Then we get into town full of humanoid creatures that are kind of, your standard handful of races. However, they all seem to have been somewhat corrupted in some way by the Shadowfell. And the group left off with going to talk to the leader of the fort, Kevinson. And that was Alva, Agatha, and Ugo. Hal was still being a sneaky monk, now also rogue, sneaking into the building, into the meeting. And that's where we left off.
Agatha, Alva, and Ugo Go. You three are led into this fort and down through a long, wide hallway, and eventually down a side hallway into a small room where you are introduced to the leader of this fort named Kevinson. Though it is hard to tell exactly what race he is or used to be, he was some kind of elf or elf descendant due to the pointed ears. Just like everyone else that you have seen in the fort so far, his skin tone is like completely shadowy and black, and if he wasn't so solid and corporeal, you would easily mistake him for a regular shadow, two-dimensional. After a moment or two, when you enter, he stands up and gives you a slight bow. Hal, where exactly are you sneaking to keep an eye out?
So I just made it to the second story window of this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I hear my party below?
With your passive perception, you can hear the echoing footsteps throughout this stone fort.
Okay. I'm gonna try and make my way to the same floor as them while sticking to the shadows and staying distant.
Sure, just make a quick stealth check.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
That's gonna be 23.
Yeah, simple. First of all, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people in here. And two, you're just really good at sneaking.
I'm a sneaky boy.
Sneaky boy with that rogue multi-glass.
I know, right? I got a 23 on an 8. Sorry.
It's so good.
My
I love it.
goodness.
It's so
Oh my
good.
god.
But
That's-
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's beautiful and horrible.
It's
Yeah.
great, okay? I love it.
Never
Rogues
see-
are awesome.
They'll never see it coming.
But Agatha, Alva, and Ugo Go. This person stands up and gives you a slight bow. Welcome.
Thank you for having us here.
We don't get a lot of visitors. Most people don't willingly travel to the Shadowfell.
I suppose not.
I can see why. Did you end up here on accident? How did your little settlement here end up where it is?
It was a very long time ago. But it was just one morning we found ourselves here. And the shadows are not kind.
Is that why? And pardon me if this is rude. You appear to be made of shadow.
We didn't think much of it first. But the Shadowfell's influence is corrupting over time. I don't know how long we've been here, since there is no unit of time. But my guess is at least decades.
And have you never seen other, perhaps not travelers, that is not the right word.
What do you mean? Have we seen travelers?
Or other persons like yourself?
Like ourselves, no. We do not leave our fort. Occasionally we do get travelers, but they are few and far between. Except for as of late.
And what does that mean?
I just find it odd we have had multiple visitors in however long it has been. Much shorter than time normally seems, anyway.
These other travelers, what were they like?
Eager. Too excitable for a place like this. Well, one of them, anyway. The other was very serious and gave many disapproving looks to her traveling companion.
Did they happen to mention their names or who they were working for or what they were looking for?
He kind of stares off into the distance for a moment as if trying to gather his thoughts. As if through a fog. I don't remember their names, but one was tall and strong, dark complexion. Not like us, but in a more mortal tone. The other was young and foolish. Very light-colored hair.
I turn to Ugo and Agatha. I believe that is the other two of the group that we are looking for. That sounds like it could be Mercy and Liam.
It
Could
certainly
be.
sounds that way.
Were either of them armed?
Armed? You said armed, right?
Yes.
The boy, not so much. Though he did carry a walking stick of some sort. The other, heavily.
That sounds like our Mercy. Were they hurt in any fashion? When they arrived, I mean.
Scrapes and bruises.
Nothing serious, though.
Not that I could tell, but I'm not a healer.
And Oh no, Agatha, after you.
Do you know where they were headed after they were here?
He seems hesitant for a second. Like, do you wish to follow in their footsteps?
If it will help us find them. Yes.
We are actually here looking for them. They were part of another group from sorry, my brain just stopped me.
Prime
They're
material?
yes. They're part of a group that was sent here prior to us, and they were split. And we were sent to try and find them.
I see. The boy very much acted like a child. Was spouting something along the lines of he knew where he had to go to solve this problem. Something about light and in the right direction. I do not know what he's talking about. But he seemed sure of where he needed to go. And there is like a small window. It's not very large, nothing that you can like squeeze through or anything. But Kevin Sin looks out of it for a moment. Directions are odd here, but past the mountains that you can see far in the distance if you look hard enough is where they went. I can point them out to you.
That would be helpful, yes.
Did they ask of anything from your people, or did you provide them with any sort of supplies?
The boy, which you call Liam, was very nosy. I told him to cool it with the questions, as did your tall friend. They did not ask. It seems like they were fending for themselves. Not to mention the items. The edible items are not always palatable. Not dangerous, just not palatable.
And they left here unharmed, but you do not remember. Well, I guess that's two questions. They left here unharmed, and you don't remember how long ago. I know time is strange.
Recently. I couldn't tell you how long, but recently. And they left here at least unharmed by us. We know most we can do is fight off an occasional wolf. And she was very intimidating.
Well, you have been very helpful. Thank you.
All I ask is that you leave as quietly as you came in.
Of course, we wouldn't want to cause any trouble.
Gee, a quick question.
Sure.
I'd like to imagine that I was eavesdropping on this conversation. Is that possible?
Yeah, I would definitely say you did well enough in your stealth check where you could eavesdrop at least at the door.
Okay. And also, I just would like to try an insight check to see if I hear anything that doesn't. That's
right.
not Copa's. Yeah. If I could.
Sure. Any specific part of the conversation?
Especially about them being harmless. We could barely fend ourselves off against the wolf. Something about that just doesn't gel.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's an 8. I keep rolling 8s. And my insight is 10, so 18.
To the best of your ability, there aren't any like nervous tics of hesitation or anything along those lines that would indicate they were lying.
Okay.
It does sound like that at the minimum, whether it was true or not, they didn't want trouble. You can at least tell that.
Okay. And with that, he just goes back the way he came and flies down from the window.
Okay.
Are wolves your usual trouble around here?
Shadowy versions of them, anyway.
Has anything more dire shown itself to you?
Yes.
What was it, and how often does it appear?
Can you make a persuasion check for me?
Yes, I can. Almost a nat 20. Sad day. Was 19 plus 8 is 27.
I don't like talking about it. At least within our village. It is superstition. For it, if we speak of it, it will arrive. But a large creature of darkness, dangerous, able to stare at you and destroy you. Have you heard of such a creature?
I have.
That. It's walked by, its footsteps pounding some ways away before the two people you were looking for arrived.
Did it head in that same direction or a different one?
Not parallel or perpendicular, but in a surreptitious route. In the same direction, roughly. If it went north, it went northeast. If they went north, it went northeast.
Well, we were told that one was seen by the other half of the group, so...
Have any of your people noticed or felt an earthquake or a chasm open up nearby?
Not near here. But those are usually self-contained. When they do happen.
Well, any more questions for the leader?
I don't have any more.
Do your people have ways of warding off this creature, or is it simply best to avoid it entirely?
Hope.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions I can assist with?
I think that's all. If you could just point us in the direction of the mountains, that would be a great help.
Sure. And he will stand up and escort you back to the front. After looking around for a second, he points off in the equivalent of northwest.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I have keen mind. So
Yes.
Is it work the same here in a general sense?
I would say yes.
Okay.
It's just harder to tell because there's no sun or stars to navigate by. So it's mostly all by landmarks.
Okay.
But since you have the keen mind feat, I will say yes, you can tell generally. We'll say it's northwest.
Okay. Cool.
Just for simplicity's sake.
Yeah. All right.
I go out and get mistletoe.
Okay.
And then, wait for everybody to be ready to exit.
Halcyed, when do you reconvene?
I think I just land right next to you.
Superman land.
There you are.
He pulls a Batman every time on you guys. That's now canon.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Is the raven still hanging around outside?
Do you have a torch? Well, even with your torch, I don't think you'd be able to see it. I think it's still out of range because a torch will probably only... I think your light spell goes like 15 feet in the Shadowfell, if I'm right.
I want to say close to that, yes.
Yeah, because I think it's normally 30 feet, so it's 15 here. I don't think you'd be able to tell.
Oh, it's halved, so it's 10.
You can't tell.
Oof.
It's okay. I have another thing that's brighter. It's fine. You're fine.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. All right. Cool. Gather up mistletoe.
Halcyed sees it.
The second he notices it, he shudders again. He just keeps, luckily he has the mask on, so you can't see that there's a look of like, I want that thing to go away.
What do you do?
Is something the matter, Fred? As he's handing the reins of horse over to Halcyed.
Beautiful.
While like slowly hovering above horse to get on the saddle, he just goes, nothing. The lead that you all uncovered. I'm excited to verify it. He just trots off, like doesn't say anything else.
I love it.
Excellent.
Efficient.
Do you follow Halcyed, and where do you go?
Well, seems we have our heading.
Heading towards
Yep.
the mountains. We're heading to the
Bring back out.
mountains.
Exciting.
Alva does wave at everyone that they pass through to exit
They
out
seem,
of the fort.
they seem surprised that someone would acknowledge them, and very half-heartedly, a couple wave back. No enthusiasm.
Oh.
He said hope was the best way to fend off the thing.
That is true.
And I'm not saying Ugo's saying this like super loud and bombastically, but he does, say to the rest of you, onward and upward. Eventually.
Sorry. One. So the group of you begin to travel across the Shadowfell. And it's several days. Over these course of several days, I would like everyone except Halcyed to roll a will saving throw, wisdom. Agatha has advantage.
I got a 17.
Okay.
I got 2 17s.
And you said it's a will save?
Wisdom save, yeah.
Okay.
So don't forget, you all get a bonus if you're next to the paladin.
Yeah.
Yeah. +3. So, wait, that's 26.
Everyone is able to continue to fend off this heavy, shadowy despair and apathy that seeps upon you from the Shadowfell. The group of you find yourselves sitting down for camp one evening. The horses are tired after their long, quote-unquote, day. And Ox. The broom doesn't have stats. Do you build a fire?
I think Ugo probably starts to for the benefit of warmth. Or warmth. As much as we can get here.
Halcyed will start to build a hood over the fire so that the flame doesn't go too far.
Mm-hmm. It functions perfectly fine. The light still does not go as far as you would hope. But that, I feel like, is something at least one of you has come to accept. But it's warm enough. The heat isn't affected, and it is able to stave off a little bit of the chill.
Well, that's nice. What does Halcyed make this hood out of? Is it...
So he's got in his bag some spare clothing, and it's just another one of his dark and heavy tunics that he wraps around. A couple of spare darts, and then his spear, which is a collapsible spear. So once he has all the darts lined up to keep the cloak up, he just juts up the spear, and it's hooded over the flames.
Very nice.
Is there anything you would like to do while you are at camp?
I think other than ensuring that his equipment is all in order, Ugo probably plays his dulcimer for a bit. Just real quiet, just some little tune.
Like, as you're doing that, Halcyed just goes, it's good to see that this place has not yet dimmed your light completely.
It can only dim it if I let it.
It's persistent.
I too am persistent. I'm still here.
Yes, you are.
While they're having that conversation, I'll go around the outside of the camp that we've created and set up an alarm. So if anything gets too close that one of us can't see, I'll be alerted.
Okay. Are you doing anything, Alva?
I think at this point in time, Alva would be mostly staring at the fire, zoning out a little bit here and there.
All right. While you are at camp, before the group of you start to fall asleep. I know Halcyed trances, but before anyone is ready to go to bed. Oh, that's cocked. Halcyed, what's your AC, please?
20.
An arrow shoots by you.
I'd like to catch it.
I will allow it since it missed.
Alright, so I have to read how to do it. Deflect missiles. You can use your reaction to deflect or catch the missile when you're hit by a ranged weapon attack. Okay, I am going to since it missed, I just catch it.
Yeah, I will allow you to just catch it since it missed.
Okay, so he just... It would appear that we are under attack.
They will soon learn that is them.
Throughout the darkness, you cannot see it, and definitely outside your perimeter, Agatha. There is a figure very casually walking up to your camp. They are about medium height, probably about 5'7", 5'8". Wearing dark clothes, armor studded with a variety of weapons on them. Hair is tied tightly back into a ponytail, and they are wearing a mask similar to Halcyed's, though the difference between them is that this figure's is only a half mask showing the bottom half of their face, which is scarred and withered and old. Now,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Kyle's going to give the hand to everybody like, this might be my fight. Don't worry about it.
As well as that, there is a large raven perched on their shoulder. Glad to see that my training did not go to waste, Halcyed. You recognize the voice of your mentor.
Well, it hasn't even been a day, so it would appear that you are still as keen as ever. What do I owe the visit?
I'm just here to deliver a message. Kinda actually sad I missed, but you've been keeping up with training.
I felt that this was your hello. So hello.
Hello.
So, it's the message from our matron, and are you sure this time?
Crystal. For a second, this Shadarkai looks over the rest of you. Just kind of like sizing you up.
Whenever
wave.
she gets... Sorry, go ahead.
I just wave.
And whenever she looks at Ugo, he smiles at her.
There is no
Agatha's
smile
just-
back.
Agatha's just sitting there petting Grim.
Casually.
Yeah.
Yes.
crystal directly from her mouth.
Possible.
Well, whether you believe it or not, the message is the same.
What is it?
She wants to meet the four of you.
You can understand why my first assumption is that this is a trap.
Oh, you can think of it whatever you like. I'm just the messenger, and you can do with it as you please.
We both know that's not true.
Where are we to meet your matron?
Her fortress.
And where is that?
You're heading towards it now.
Well, if it's on the way, we may as well stop by.
He's just glaring daggers. Well, if that's all.
I will take my leave.
But
And
I'd imagine you're going to still be watching.
in one way or another. The raven flies off of her shoulder, joins the second one that was following you the entire time, and with Shadarkai magic, disappears.
Oh, well, it looks like you're not the only one who found a friend.
There are no friends in the Shadowfell.
Who is this matron of yours?
The one that we all serve. She goes by many names, I believe. Most commonly referred to in the material plane as the Raven Queen.
Anyone that is not a Halcyed can roll a history or religion check. Arcana 2 if you would like.
17 for history.
Well, that's a 9.
I rolled Arcana and got a 21.
Very nice.
Alva, you have never heard of this being. Ugo Go, you actually haven't heard of her either. Agatha, you've only heard of her in passing. And only probably because Shadarkai that have stopped by the material plane and the university gave a little bit of their own history. There are no gods in Etios, but if there were, she would be the closest thing. She is a divinely adjacently powerful entity that resides in the Shadowfell. Other than that, you just know that the Shadarkai serve her. But how she came into being, you have no clue. There are rumors. She deals with the dead, but just how magic works and where the plane of the dead is located, it's so remote from the material, it's hard to believe. The ghosts and souls of the deceased need to magically be ritually sent over by wizards, at least on the material plane. So some contradicting information and a lot of what ifs, maybes. But you do know she is powerful.
Halcyed immediately gets up and yanks his spear, like putting some of his cloak into the fire. He's not even carrying it. He just sits back down, holding his spear close to him. It's very much like this is my comfy, this is my security blanket right now kind of deal.
And if the cloak is still even partially in the fire, Yugo's going to swoop it out of it, shake it, put out any embers, hold on to it for now. No, he's not going to hold on to it. He's going to offer it to Halcyed if, he wants it.
He is zoned out right now, but his leg is bouncing. It's like in the material plane, he has no nervous tics, but like here, he's not cool at all. Like he is.
In which case, if he is not stopped, Yugo's essentially going to fold up this cloak and put it in whatever pack you have identified as yours.
A horse has a little saddlebag. You can just put it in.
So I am guessing this is not a visit you would want to make.
It is the responsibility and duty of all Shatterkai to serve the matron to the best of their ability, up to and beyond death.
And it appears that the two that we're looking for were also headed in that direction. Perhaps something to do with the light that is happening?
Certainly sounds that way.
Your matron doesn't sound like one that enjoys light.
If they erred in the presence of my matron, then they are most certainly dead. And if they are not, if she wills it, then it is the responsibility and duty of all Shatterkai to see to it that they die.
Then we must hope that they did not err.
Yes, let's.
What insights can you give us to how to make this meeting go smoothly? And Ugo kind of sits down, not across from you per se, but near enough by where they can have this conversation without shouting over a fire.
If it is true that we are meant to enter the presence of my matron, then this one would have you all remain quiet, say nothing, do nothing, and allow me to speak on this group's behalf.
If that would make things run smoothly, I can agree to that.
As can I.
I cannot offer any certainty as to the texture of the situation. However, I will do my best to make sure that you all leave her presence whole.
Hugo's going to put a hand on your shoulder and give it a gentle squeeze. He's going to say, "That is the best we can ask of you, friend."
Indeed. I appreciate that.
So who will take first watch?
I will take first watch.
Wake me when you are ready.
I can take
Yugo's
third
gonna-
watch.
I'll take last.
Okay.
And with that decided, Yugo's going to go and lean up against Ox, just hands behind head, and take himself a little rest.
Ox is definitely the biggest sense of warmth that radiates out of all of you.
Excellent.
So Ox is a warm comfort as you drift off to sleep. Over the course of the night, can everyone make me a perception check, please?
Oh, he's jazzed. Let's see. Well, I have to math.
That's a 12.
Oh,
That's 33.
jeez.
15 plus 18.
Agatha and Alva.
I got a 21.
Okay.
I like that number tonight, apparently.
And I got a 16.
Ugo Go and Alva, your shifts are quiet, or at least you don't notice anything. Agatha, your shift, you noticed more acutely the chill in the air. There is a tension. You do hear packs of something off in the distance, though you're not sure exactly what, but they are far, yipping and howling. And Halcyed. You hear once or twice some wild packs of something. You are able to identify them as a type of horse-type creature with 6 legs and not kind. But they are also far away. But more intently, you are able to feel the gentle shift in how the space of the Shadowfell moves. Normally it is very slow and imperceptible, but the fact that you can feel it is a warning.
He's gonna kind of just talk aloud. He's actually gonna look at the raven and just go, "What have they done now?"
Caw. One of them ruffles its feathers and tucks its head under its wing. The other one just keeps a watch. Agatha. Sorry,
Okay.
go ahead, Halcyed. Go ahead.
Well, he was just gonna go, "I know that you're toying with me. Let's just get this over with." That's it.
Yep. Yeah, ravens can be cocky creatures. It's fine. Agatha. What watch did you take? 3rd or 4th?
3rd.
After you fall back to sleep, you have another dream. In this dream, you are once again tall, so very tall, walking across the Shadowfell landscape. Mountains to your left, traveling along parallel to them. And in the distance, you see a light. The light does not extend its brightness, though you can still see it as a pinprick in the distance. For some reason, it is not comforting in this landscape. But the way it shines is impossibly so, because even so, its brightness does not reach across the lands. And that pit in your chest coils stronger. Though you did get a benefit of a full night's rest, it just feels wrong.
When I wake up, probably for a little while, I'm quieter than normal and kind of just watching my surroundings a little bit more acutely than I normally would.
Okay. Is there anything you would like to accomplish in the morning before you head out? Morning. The ravens have flown out of view.
I think Hal's just gonna be ready earlier than he normally is. And I think he's kind of so unnerved that he just checks in with everyone. You know, is everyone okay? Do you still have your wits about you?
Near as I can tell, yes.
I am okay.
I would like to just focus on the job. Push on. Let's see if we can find them.
I definitely think that's best.
Very well. Just
Okay.
gets on horse and starts to ride.
And there we will take our break. We will be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. Everyone stretch, hydrate, please pet your pets, and we will be back soon. Bye.
You know it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back from break. We last left off with our players having a lovely visit from an old friend of Halcyed's. They had a lovely talk about this matron named the Raven Queen. And we had some watches, some foreboding and some unnerving. The group of you, I'm assuming, continue forward towards the mountains. It's hard to tell how many days you travel. If it weren't for Agatha and her keen mind, coupled with just taking your rests when you need to, you would easily lose track. You are traveling for at least 6 days before you finally notice some things. Alva, while you're able to stave off the influence of the Shadowfell, of its sorrow and its apathy, you realize in the morning one day, you do not need to light your torch, as you can see fairly fine without the light needed by your spell. You have 60 feet of dark vision.
I don't know, the Shadowfell thing doesn't seem that bad.
Ugo.
Yet.
Ugo Go. You are also able to stave off this influence. Your vision does not change, though you become hardened more to this persistent chill in the air. You find yourself not needing to be near the fire, or needing to survive and keep off the cold by leaning up against Ox's flank. You gain resistance to cold.
Useful, if troubling.
Do these manifest in any specific way for the two of you, physically?
I don't know.
I feel like for Alva, she's this very deep blue eyes. I feel like over the course of this time, her eyes have become lighter, but at the same time, almost like a bit more cat-like as far as the pupil dilation, in order for her to now have this dark vision that isn't natural.
Agatha and Halcyed, with your passive perceptions, you would notice this.
Al's just going to say, we need to be wary, though these appear as a gift. This is the first sign that the Shadowfell has begun to claim you. First your body, then your mind, then your soul. Stay on guard.
I agree. I definitely think we should be careful with what sort of changes happen to us here.
I think it's probably even though he doesn't need to be near the fire or Ox to keep warm, like I feel like Ugo does not change his habits at all in the slightest. Just just gonna sit on that for a bit.
Of course. Throughout these days in course of time, that's when you notice these changes within the two of you. But over the course of several more days, a couple other things happen. First of all, now that everybody does have dark vision, the quantity of ravens you see flying overhead slowly increases. It is not a flock, but one day it's 2, one day it is 4, another day it is 8. And they don't do anything. They're just flying and following. Farther and farther you make it closer to these mountains and the Raven Queen's fortress.
You'd think if they were to follow us, they might make the trip shorter.
Remain respectful to the ravens. Let no harm come to them. And we should press forward. Mind your tongue and your manners. Keeps going.
Would you recommend perhaps going faster pace?
We don't need to go faster. This is a fine pace.
Agatha at some point definitely tries to feed one of them.
I will allow either animal handling or persuasion.
Oh no.
Because
Oh, no.
you can immediately tell these things are intelligent.
Yeah. She just like holds out like a little piece of bread or something like to see if it would want to take it. Animal handling or
Persuasion.
persuasion. Things the same on both. Oh god.
What?
I got a 7.
Total?
Yeah, I rolled a 4.
On animal handling or persuasion?
I did it on animal handling. I have +3 on both of them, so.
It looks at you, offended,
Oh.
in indignation. It
I'm
will
sorry.
peck at you.
Oh.
Only like a point of damage. But it is offended. But it does not do anything other than that warning peck before continuing to keep its distance.
Just mutters, just trying to be nice.
Mind the ravens. They do hold grudges.
I will keep that in mind.
The next thing you see over the course of these days is something familiar to Agatha, but new to everybody else. There is the nature of the Shadowfell. Really, it is easy to see a light anywhere, at any distance. And you see high in the sky, almost like it was perched on top of a tower, a beacon, though the light does not reach you. But it is something you can see, and it is far off.
Ah, is that our destination?
When I first see it, I kind of like look at it and then almost blatantly try to ignore it because it was something I saw in my dream, and it's just a reminder.
How blatant are you?
Just kind of just looking off in the other direction, like.
Alva? I think you would notice this with your insight, passive insight, as an odd gesture. Unless you want to roleplay this differently, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take note of it. I'll stare a little extra longer at Agatha. And then while staring at Agatha, I would say, Hal, is this something that is a landmark? Is this our destination? Is this the fortress of your Raven matron?
What do I know about this beacon, or do I need to roll something?
you do need to roll this. This is very obscure lore.
Okay.
And I think the only people that would have any idea what this thing might be would be Agatha with her knowledge at the university, or Halcyed. You can both roll. Halcyed, your DC is a little easier than Agatha's since you were born here.
All right. Is this religion or history?
I would allow either or.
Gotcha. I'm gonna do it with religion.
Okay.
That is a 18.
Total?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Agatha?
I rolled a 20. Dirty 20.
Well, neither of those are high enough to know exactly what this is. Except
I'm unfamiliar.
odd.
Except what?
Except odd.
Oh yeah. He goes, I'm unfamiliar with what this is, but how far off does it appear?
Distances are deceiving. But if you would like to roll a survival to get an estimate,
Yeah.
you can.
Now we're talking 24.
Yeah, this is far. Very, very far. This is past the mountains, high above them. Without its light shining and like as a beacon, like coming across the Shadowfell, it's hard to get an exact estimate. But the fact that you're seeing it so far away probably indicates that it's huge, whatever this light is. And far. At least over 100 miles.
It would take me some time to get there, which is impressive, as I'm rather fast.
Yes. You can run faster than horse, can't you?
he lovingly rubs the mane, but you can see that he's like covering horse's ears, and he goes, yes.
Poor horse.
Aw,
Horse doesn't need to know that.
that's great.
And Agatha, is there something that is troubling you?
I've been having dreams since we got here, and the last one I had, I saw that thing in the distance. I don't know what it is, but it was like I was looking through the eyes of something else, and it was seemed to be heading in that direction.
Then
Do you have any idea what it was that is heading in that direction?
Just that it was very large.
Our wise folk think dreams offer insights into the waking world. Perhaps when next you sleep, you might try and extend your senses through this other.
I can try. I'm a little wary on that. If I'm seeing through the eyes of a creature from the Shadowfell. But if it could give us More information. I'd be willing to give it a shot.
I think perhaps this means that we are headed in the right direction.
I hope that is the case, yes.
Well, if there is a right direction and a place with no direction.
Well, of course there's a direction. There's that one. Pointing at the mountains / the thing.
Hal's hopped off of horses, just feeding them an apple from his rations. When you wake up, are you still in full control of your faculties?
Yes.
The moment that stops being true, inform us.
I'll make sure I do that.
Good. Then we should continue on. If the unkind weren't lying, and the matron truly does wait for us, he gets on a horse, then I'd be remiss to keep her waiting. It just keeps going on his horse.
I agree, and I'll follow along.
You continue to travel. And you pass by many shadowy structures of old, decrepit ruins pulled in from other planes of existence long ago. Some which are tangible, some which are not. And slowly, as you continue to make your way towards these mountains and this light in the distance, now a sign and a way to keep track of your location. You do come across some familiar places. Alva and Ugo Go. To both of you, you both see this. And, well, everyone sees this. But to Alva and Ugo Go, it seems familiar. Ugo Go, you see shadowy tents and some structures. A small village familiar to you. And Alva, I am not aware, Mare. But if you would like to describe where you grew up in your childhood.
It is a small village, tribe over in the
Plane of water?
Earth.
Oh, Earth. Sorry. Yes.
Earth.
plane of
Yeah,
My bad.
plane of Earth. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word Earth. Small tribal village in the plane of Earth, mud huts. It was very joyous. People out in the streets. Often a lot of little small ritualistic festivals almost every day of the week.
You both see a version of your tribe where you grew up. Though there are no people or festivals, the tents and huts seem broken and intangible as you make your way towards them, wavering in the shadows.
And out of character, are these in two separate, like, one village is on one side, one is on the other, or are we looking at the same thing going, oh, this looks like home?
You are looking at the same thing, almost overlaid each other, but to one you notice one portion more and the other notices the other part more. Agatha and Halcyed, it just seems a mishmash of mud huts and tents. Unfamiliar to you, though possibly a little familiar since you did encounter that tribe before entering the Shadowfell. Similar.
Are you all well?
You said there were places that are reflections of the material,
Yes.
and perhaps this is a reflection of that.
But it is not just the material.
It would appear that these are places from the material plane that have found their way into the Shadowfell.
And the plane of Earth. There seem to be multiple planes that have found their way to the Shadowfell.
One of the ravens flies by and through one of these buildings without any resistance.
Then a reflection it shall remain. And Ugo, like, for a moment there, it looked like he was about to, like, go over and maybe touch one of these things, but that bird flew through and he went, better not.
The effects of the Shadowfell are not limited only to the material plane.
Well, it seems that the Shadowfell is trying to sway us from our mission.
It has a
Perhaps.
tendency to do that.
Although, it would be entertaining if in the plane of Earth, your home happens to co-locate in a way with my home in the material. Echoes of echoes, in a way.
I guess in that sense that we are almost family.
Now you're talking. Just kind of claps you on the shoulder.
What a very obtuse way of seeing things.
It
Interesting.
is, Hal, it is simply the hope. They said the hope helps in some way or another.
I'm familiar with hope in theory. We should continue on.
Hope in theory.
Just in theory.
I read about it once in the paper.
Several days pass again. The quantity of ravens is larger. Definitely in the double digits. Though you're not sure if it's because they are crisscrossing paths in a way that make you think there are more or there are actually more. If you would like to count, you are more than welcome to.
He is definitely not doing that shit.
What is a flock of ravens?
A murder.
So it's the same as crows.
That is untrue. A flock of ravens is known as an unkindness.
That's right.
An unkindness of ravens.
That is the sect that I once belonged in.
These unkind were your people?
Are my people. We
Does it-
exist to serve the more visceral urges of our matron.
Visceral, you say?
Yes.
So you are her arm and arms? in a way?
We are her will. She desires something. We make it happen. She desires the removal of something, and we remove it.
I would say that is not too far off from my people, but that would be untrue. There is no central person to tell us one way or another.
At this point, our desire to see the matron's will is ingrained in our very being, but there are some old enough to remember the stories, and there are few still who pass the stories along as to why we serve. But in the end, it doesn't matter. What does matter is that we serve. I have to confess to you, if the unkind were being true, and it truly is the matron's will to see the four of us, whatever it is that she asks of me, she will have.
Then it is your desire to complete your duty.
I have failed the matron before. I would like to avoid making that same mistake.
Ugo drifts off, lost in thought for a bit.
Well, hopefully her will is not against what we're trying to accomplish.
I pray the same. I've grown interested in all of you.
Halcyed, should our paths diverge, no, I would not hold it against you.
And know that I will do my very best to grant you a swift and painless end.
I apologize, friend, but I would not grant you that.
Understood.
If you wish to honor me, death in combat is not a terrible way to go.
Then I will see you transition with honor.
The days seem to grow longer, though. Agatha, you know
Darn.
that. Sorry, what was that, Ugo? You cut out.
Oh, wow.
You got robotic.
That was some lag.
Yeah. What was it you were saying?
I was just following up after the end of what Halcyed had said, saying Ugo spurs locks on ahead.
Got it. Perfect. As I was saying, the days seem to grow longer, though Agatha, you know that's not actually the case with your able to just be able to tell when noon and quote unquote the sunrise and the sunset is. Maybe it's not actually you being in tune with the material plane and its rising and falling of the sun, but instead it's natural progression here in the Shadowfell of how time progresses. I would like everyone to please make me a perception check. Actually, to roll. It rolled really
That's a natural one.
Oh,
Okay, Ugo doesn't
no.
see it, but it was real. Is it like just flat 1? Did you add anything to it?
Oh no,
Uh,
I didn't add anything. That nat 1 plus 2. That's 3.
It rolled
That's
really
3.
bad and you still didn't see it. I'm sorry.
I rolled a 32.
Jesus.
I love expertise.
I love expertise is so good. I just
My
started making a
God.
rogue. So I know. What was that, Agatha?
16.
Okay.
Also 16.
Literally everyone except Ugo. Let me just double check for the mounts. Hold on, where's I need
What
another
is
d20.
Ox's passive perception?
Should I roll for Grim?
You share
No.
senses. I think that'll be okay.
Yeah.
All of the mounts, even the ones that are trained for combat, ox and horse, their nostrils flare. And at least in Mistletoe's case, is she still tied to ox when you travel? Okay. She does rear back, trying to flee. But far in the distance,
Oh.
what happens is there is a tall creature moving in front of this light that you see in the distance. There are
Oh.
large curved horns pointed at the end, tall. And even though it's pitch black in the Shadowfell with no moon or stars in the sky, it is a darker beacon against this night. Halcyed, you would immediately recognize a Nightwalker.
Horse, steady yourself. This is who we are. He just gets off and grabs his spear.
It does not
Ahead,
seem to
Oh.
have noticed you.
he just up ahead is a Nightwalker.
Agatha and Alva, you see it, and Ugo Go, once it's pointed out to you, you see it.
He goes from like looking side to side and really close to, oh, all the way over there.
I don't believe that we could win a direct confrontation with a Nightwalker. I would advise finding another way.
Agatha, when your eyes make contact on this creature of darkness in the Shadowfell, that feeling in your chest grows and coils, and I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay.
Woo!
There it is. $13.
Oh no. Oh no.
Bye, Agatha. No.
Agatha's not gonna die, it's fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
There is a sharp, sharp pain in your chest as you take. I can't do math. 21 points of psychic damage.
Oh god. Okay.
God.
And you feel almost not even imperceptibly, it's very perceptible. Something try to break out and free. And anybody who is near you, anyone who might see you at the edge of their vision, sees almost like a shadowy halo of horns flash by your head. Hands are briefest of moments claws before you are able to gather yourself.
I got 2 questions.
Sure.
One, is this something Hal has seen before or something I can roll for?
You can roll for it. You have not seen it. Anyone
And
can
2,
roll.
when Agatha took the damage, did she make any sound?
Oh, probably. Definitely a grunt of pain and probably fell off of her broom.
Oh. If possible, I would like to have Hal try and catch Agatha.
Yeah, you can make a reflex save.
Okay, so a dexterity save?
Yeah.
Rock and roll. 24?
Yeah, you can catch her.
Just.
Quick rules question.
Sure, go for it.
Spells with a range of touch, can you cast them on yourself as well?
Yeah. As
Okay.
long as you are able to cast it on yourself, yeah. But you can touch yourself and cast it.
All right. Okay.
And what did I need to roll to see if I recognize the Shadowhorn?
Arcana.
Arcana. Okay, here we go. 17 plus nothing. I'm dumb.
I'm trying to figure out
You and me both.
what type of check would this would be in terms of DC difficulties.
If it ain't religion, baby, I don't know.
You're not 100% sure what this is.
Okay.
But you have not seen it, and it did not look favorable.
He is just going to look at Agatha and go, "You really should consider putting a strap on your broom."
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you for catching me.
It's no problem. I should put you down now. And he puts you down. And
Thank you.
then he asks, "Are you possessed?"
Something happened when I was a child. My parents were killed by a creature from the Shadowfell, and it is believed that I became possessed by it, yes.
Alva and Ugo Go, what is your reaction to this manifestation from Agatha?
First, Ugo casts some sort of spell on himself. And then he reaches over to Alva and does the same. You now have the benefit of Death Ward. And I have no further 4th level spell slots.
Hey, it's a good spell though.
Oh. I, in the midst of calming down Mistletoe, would say, after Agatha gets righted, would be looking at Agatha with almost this distrustful look. Uncertainty, a little distrustfulness, and I simply would say, I would suggest that we take cover, but I do not know if that helps with possession in this circumstance.
You have done well to handle this possession up until now. If this continues to be a problem, please let us know.
I've never had this sort of reaction before. I've done my best through the years to learn to make sure whatever it is doesn't affect me physically, to put those around me in danger. I wasn't entirely sure what coming to the Shadowfell would do, but we had hoped that it wouldn't progress what it is, but it seems to have. If I become a liability, I would ask you to deal with it.
I will. But I will hope that doesn't become necessary. Now, I would like to scout ahead. Is this acceptable to you all?
Of course.
Take care, friend.
Keep an eye on Agatha. Make sure that she is well. And he's just going to head up into the sky and just get an overhead view of the Nightwalker to see if there's anything else, any other fuckery that we should be worried about, and to see if there's a path past it.
Since it is so dark, on your night vision, your dark vision only goes so far. I'd like you to roll. First of all, roll your stealth, and then roll your perception.
Let's get it.
Don't think you can fail, but sometimes shit happens.
No, that's okay. I actually rolled incredibly low on my stealth check. I got an 18. I rolled a 3.
Well, it rolled a 10. The Nightwalker does not notice you.
Thank God. And as for my perception, that's big money. Nat 20. 35.
Very nice.
You see the Nightwalker heading not towards the light, but if it continued in its course, it would walk past it, probably several miles away. But that's just an estimate. You see these mountains and a clear path through them. Through some trees, some more flat plains, before making its way to another mountain. A tall fortress. And as your eyes gaze upon it, you feel an incredible sorrow.
Welcome home. Alright. He just descends, and I found our path forward. I think that we'll be able to continue just fine without attracting the attention of the Nightwalker.
Then our most wise course of action is to take that path.
I need you all to understand. When we get to the fortress, everything that you have felt here will be amplified. The assault on your spirit magnified. Just prepare as best you can.
Thank you.
Try and find one cherished memory and hold on to it.
Thank you for the warning.
Are there any other conversations or scenes you would like to have before I describe the end scene and it's the end of the session?
I think at some point, whether it's, after the group has continued on or, just while Hal is doing their scouting ahead, Alva would give Agatha a hug, if allowed. Little one, you don't have we all have demons. We all have things inside of us that are not so nice, and perhaps we may not use the word possession. But those things can easily rule us, and they can easily guide us in the wrong way. Just as if you were possessed by, an 80-foot scary monster. The thing that you need to hold on to is that you know who you are. You know who you are inside, and that will never change. And if it does, well, luckily you are surrounded by those that would hope for the best for you. Perhaps instead of thinking about this possession in such a negative way, in a way, it is a two-way street, is it not? And perhaps in time, you can control it just as much as it threatens to control you.
Thank you, Alva. That really means a lot. I do want to apologize as well to you. We've known each other for a while, and I've never... Very few people know about what truly happened that night. And I probably should have told you all sooner, but... Truthfully, it scares me. I try to do the best I can to push through and help as many people to not go through the same things I have. But deep down, I've always been scared that this thing could take over. But your words have given me hope that maybe I can overcome this. And I'll do everything in my power to not only overcome it, but to make sure you're all safe.
Well, just keep in mind, Agatha, that it is often fear that gets you killed.
You're right. Thank you.
And Alva would end the conversation with another hug.
And Agatha will hug back tightly.
Any other conversations or scenes?
I'm sorely tempted to, but I will save it for next time.
Okay. In that case, it only takes a couple more days for Halcyed to lead you through this path through the mountains, through some more forests. The ravens, now a full flock of unkindness, perched in the trees, staring down at you as you get closer to what is only known as the Fortress of Memories, the seat of power of the Raven Queen, Halcyed's matron. It is set high upon a cliff, rising above into the dark night sky, a shadow upon a shadow. And the closer you get, the more sorrow you feel as it presses upon you. And that's where we're going to end the session. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for Session 3 of Veil of Shadows. We'll do our sign-offs, and we'll see you next week. Who would like to start?
I can start. Hi, I'm Sev, or Guildmaster Sev. You can find me on Twitter and pretty much everywhere, same username. I don't really have any projects going on right now except for this, so you can find me here Saturdays at 7:30 Central. Sundays, 7:30 Central. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so confused about the day of the week right now.
Long week.
Yes. And if I happen to go live on Twitch, which I typically do, I'm a variety streamer. You can find it on my Twitter.
Favorite part?
My favorite part was Hal catching Agatha when she fell off of her broom.
Popcorn it.
Noir.
Hey. Boy. So, okay. We're doing outros here. Hi, I'm Noir. Follow me on Twitter. My favorite moment. Oof, this is a toughie.
A lot of good
I
scenes.
I like that you scared the shit out of him very early on. I like playing scared Hal. It doesn't happen very often, so I like how in their own way everybody on the party is kind of checking in on him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I like. Like Ugo and Hal just had the friendliest conversation about killing each other. It's like it's so weird.
It was so good though.
It's great.
It was good.
What are these yes cards? Like I can't see
Oh,
those.
there are checking in. Okay, are you okay? Keep going with
Oh,
the
okay.
scene. These are our Lines and Veils cards saying, "Yeah, I'm
Gotcha.
okay. Nothing's wrong, even if it looks like I'm actually crying."
I've just been doing X and O like a sucker.
Yeah, that's
All right,
okay.
no.
That's still a valid cards. Thank you, Shadow, for putting that in chat. Popcorn.
Oh right, popcorn. My brain is not working. We're gonna go with Ugo.
All
Go.
right. So, I'm Forta. You can find me at Twitter on at Fortaver, no dash in between. And favorite part. For me, it's a toss-up between meeting Hal's mentor, because like, yes, and meeting the Night Walker, because also yes. I am very glad it did not see us. I will say that.
It rolled low and it has a negative for wisdom, so you're lucky. Shadow?
Yo, I was so scared that we were gonna have to fight a Nightwalker.
Gosh, I wish.
I was like, I don't know that we can survive this.
Yes, maybe we'll go out with a bang. Hey everybody, I'm Shadow. You can find me on Twitter at ShadowBookCat. Mostly pictures of my cat. Sometimes my dog. I have a dog too. Sometimes it gets less love. Right now, not really. Right now, this is my only announced project. So catch me here for a few more Sundays, 7:30 Central Time, for some more Shadowfell spooky adventures. Otherwise, just keep an eye out for when my next project is announced. I think today my favorite part was definitely meeting Hal's mentor. I really enjoyed seeing this very vulnerable side of Hal, who seems to have been not putting on a facade the whole time, but is definitely one of the members of the party that keeps their cool. So it's good to see under the skin.
I think that just leaves me. Hi, I'm Mare. You can find me on Twitter at Archmage of Dice. This is one of my 2 stream campaigns right now. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time on Open. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Open for Adventure. Got a handful more sessions left, and I also run an Invisible Sun campaign on my own channel at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. I also want to give a quick shout out to, if you have the time tonight, please go check out a Theater Files channel. She's currently running a charity stream benefiting the Actors Fund, and in about 30 minutes at 8 p.m. Pacific, she and a bunch of friends are going to be doing a complete read-through of Much Ado About Nothing. So if you have the time, want to have a fun stream, go check her out. She's raising money for a good cause. My favorite part tonight, oh gosh, there's a lot of good scenes, so many good scenes, but I think my brain exploded when you were talking about flocks of ravens and me making the connection, the unkind and unkindness of ravens. What the heckity heck? And I did not know that. Anyway.
Everybody gets that confused with the murder.
Yeah.
I didn't think
That's kind of why I asked. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not a murder of ravens, but I can't remember the exact word for it. I'm sure Hal knows.
I did not know it was an unkindness, and it just makes me appreciate Noir's backstory and all the thought he put down. I'm like, what the fuck?
I love it so much.
I knew, but I think I was getting them backwards in my mind. So I was like, oh right, yeah.
Anyway, everybody have a lovely start of your week tomorrow, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.